Very good morning, dear children. Dear children, we are going to start the next chapter of history, which is tribes, nomads, and settled communities. So, children, as we have read the previous chapter in chapter number 2, 3, and 4, we have seen how different kingdoms they rose up, and after that, they fell down as well. Even as this was happening, at the time when this was happening, that kingdoms were rising as well as falling down. At this point of time, new art, craft, production activities, they were also flourishing in towns as well as villages. Over the centuries, if we talk about 100 years, there were some important political, economic, and social development, social changes, positive changes which were taking place. But these social changes, they were not everywhere, children, because there were different kinds of societies which had evolved differently. They have evolved in a different manner. So it is important for us to understand how and why this was happening. So, children, in the large part of the subcontinent, see, again and again we are using the word subcontinent. I am again explaining why we are using the word subcontinent, because this area was having many countries. Like now we have Pakistan separate, then this Bangladesh separate, India separate. So that time it was not there. Fine. So that's why we call it subcontinent. Now, in the subcontinent, the society, it was divided according to the rules of Varna. We have read in class 6 also that Varna-based society was there. And who made these rules? These were the rules which were prescribed by the Brahmanas. Fine. And everyone was accepting the rules of the Varnas. Fine. Whether they were the rulers of the large kingdoms and whatever, they were accepting the rules. The difference between high and low, rich and poor, it increased a lot, children. Now, previously we have seen that there were no such, distinction, but now it was there. Even under the Delhi Sultan's children, this social class, this difference in the social class, it grew more further. Means it was not less, but even more at that time. Now the topic comes beyond big cities, tribal societies. We will talk about the tribal societies. We will go beyond the big cities, what was happening in the tribal societies. So there were, however, other kinds of societies as well. Many types of societies were there. Many societies in the subcontinent, they were not following the social rules and rituals which were prescribed by the Brahmanas. Even they were not divided into numerous unequal classes. So what were these societies called? These type of societies were called tribes. They were not following the Varna based society. Fine. Now children, see, members of each tribe, they were united by a brotherly bond, kinship bond, and many tribes, they obtained their livelihood. Now these tribes were earning their livelihood from agriculture. Even some of them were the hunter gatherers, as we have read in class 6. Fine. They were hunting also, they were gathering food also, and even some were herders as well. Means they were herding the cattle. Fine. Most often they combine. Now sometimes they used to combine all these activities, and they made full use of the natural resources of the area where they were living. Fine. Now some of these tribes were nomadic. Nomadic means they were moving from one place to another. They were not fixed at one place. Now a tribal group used to control a land and pastures jointly. Both things they were controlling jointly, and after that they used to divide their, divide it according to the requirement. Fine. Many large tribes, now there were many large tribes, which were there in different parts of the subcontinents, and children, they usually lived in forest, hills, deserts, and places which were very difficult to reach. So in movies also you have seen that these tribal people, they live in places which are hard to reach by others. Sometimes even they had a clash between, there was a clash between the tribal group as well as the this caste based societies, fine. And still these tribes, they retained their freedom, they had their freedom, and they preserved their separate culture. Their culture was totally separate from others, and they preserved their culture as well. But children, they both were dependent on each other, means the caste based society as well as the tribal society, they both had to depend on each other for their diverse needs, fine. They had different type of needs, and for those needs they had to depend on each other, fine. So they had a very, strange relationship, means they had a conflict also, and they had a dependence also. So these societies, they, because of this, they, both these societies, they face some changes. Now children, the next topic, who were tribal people? So children, if you talk about today's historians, what they say, today's historians and the travelers, they have a very less information about the tribes. Why? What is the reason? Because apart from some tribal people, most of the tribal people, they have, they do not keep any written record, they have not maintained any written record. Very less tribal people have maintained the written record, fine. Now what they were doing then, they were preserving their rich custom with the oral traditions, means when they were transferring their tradition from one generation to another, it was through oral, means orally they were transferring, it was not written anywhere, fine. So present day historians have started using such oral traditions to write tribal histories. So now the historians, they are using these oral traditions and they are writing down the tribal histories. Tribal people were found in almost every region of the subcontinent. So children, you can see this map. By this map you can see the subcontinent. First of all, the map is totally different from today's map of India, fine. And moreover, you can see that many tribal groups were living in different parts of the subcontinent, fine. The area and influence of a tribe varied at different points of time. Now see, the area, the tribe, and the time, it you like it had a specific time when a special type of tribe is famous in some areas, fine. So they had, sometimes they had powerful tribes, there were some powerful tribes, those who controlled large territories as well. For example, if you see in Punjab, the Khokhars, they were very influential. Now what was the time when they were influential? 13th and 14th century. After that, the Ghakkars, they became more important. The name of their chief was Kamal Khan Ghakkar, and he was a Mansabdar of Emperor Akbar. He was made Mansabdar by the Emperor Akbar, fine. After that children, in Multan and Sindh region, if you see, that was also a part of our subcontinent. There were the Langas, the Arguns, they were very dominating there. And now they were subdued by the Mughals, means afterwards they were controlled by the Mughals. Now after that comes the Balochis, those who were asking for Baluchistan in Pakistan now. So these are those Baluchis. They were also very large and powerful tribe in the northwest. And children, they were divided into clans, smaller clans. The tribes were divided into smaller clan. A clan means a group of family, like they had one common ancestor, they all belong to that ancestor, they had a different clan. If someone is having someone else ancestor, they will have a separate family group, that will be a different clan, fine. So every each clan, they had their chief as well. In the Western Himalayas lived the Shepherd tribe. Now, what was the Shepherd tribe in the Western Himalayas? They were known as the Gaddis. Fine. So, what they were called? They were called the Gaddis. The distant northeastern part of subcontinent too entirely dominated by Now, if you talk about the northeastern part of the subcontinent, now there were Nagas, Ahoms, and many other tribes. You can consult the map and you can just see so many were there. Now, children, in many areas, if you talk about present day Bihar, Jharkhand, Cheros were there. They had emerged in the 12th century. Raja Man Singh, who was Akbar's famous general, he was attacked and he attacked and defeated the Cheros in 1591. A large amount of booty was taken from them. A large amount of wealth was taken away from them, and but they were not entirely subdued. It means, but they were not entirely controlled. It was under Aurangzeb, the Mughal forces. They captured the Cheros and they controlled the tribe fully. Now, after that, children, come the Mundas, the Santals. You will read about them in 8th standard. Now, these Mundas and the Santals, they were also very important tribe, and they lived in the region. In this region also, Bihar and Jharkhand, and even in Orissa and Bengal as well. Fine. Now, children, see, in Maharashtra highlands and the Karnataka, these places were home to the Kolis, Berads, and many others. Now, Kolis, they lived in many areas of Gujarat, and if you talk about south, large tribal population of Koragas, Vitars, Marathwars, and many others were living there. Fine. Now, children, a large tribal group of Bhils. They were across western and the central India. By the late 17th century, children, many of the tribal people, they settled at a place and they became settled agriculturists. Even many of them became zamindars. And many Bhil clients, many of them, they became settled agriculturists, they became the zamindars, and many of them, they still continued with the same hunter gathering. And one more was there, that was Gonds. Fine, Gonds, they were found in great numbers across the present day, where they were found Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, and Andhra Pradesh. So mainly, children, the name of the tribe and the place is very important. Fine. Now next come how nomads and mobile people live. How they used to live. Fine. Now see, nomadic pastoralists. Now what they were doing, they moved over long distances with their animals. Now obviously they were moving with their animals, and they used to survive on the milk as well as whatever animal products they had. Even sometimes they used to exchange their products like wool, ghee, and all that with the settled agriculturist, and they used to exchange it with the grain, utensils, clothes, and many more things. Fine. So these are two figures. First is Bhils, they are hunting the deer by night, and second is they are exchanging the goods. Fine. Now they used to bring, buy and sold the goods when they were moving from one place to another. Suppose they are taking grain from here and selling it to some other place where grain is not available, so they were doing this work also. Transporting them on their animals, obviously they were transporting their goods on the animals. Now, the Banjaras were the most important trader nomads. They were traders also, they were nomads also. Now, they used to move in caravans, and their caravans were known as tanda. Sultan Alauddin Khalji, he used the Banjaras to transport grain to the city markets. So when they used to take the grains to the city market, they were using the Banjaras for that. Fine. And even Emperor Jahangir has also written about them, that the Banjaras, they were, carrying the grains on the bullocks from different areas, and they used to sell it in the town market. And whenever Mughal army is on military campaign, they used to transport food grain for the Mughal army. And at a time, you can see lakh bullocks carrying the grains when there was a military campaign. Now see at the side, children, nomads and itinerant groups. So nomads, you all know, wandering people, They are the pastoralists. They are moving from one place to another with their, animals, families. And the second type of people are itinerant groups. Now these are the craft persons. They are also moving from one place to another, fine, but they have a different occupation, means they have craft person, they are paddlers, entertainers, and so on, fine. So they are also moving from one place to another. Now comes the Banjaras children, fine. Now Peter Mundi, what he is an English trader, what he writes about the Banjaras, you can just go through it. Fine. After that come many pastoral tribes. They reared and sold animals. Even they were rearing and selling the animals as well. Such as they were selling the cattle, the horses, and to whom they were selling it? To rich people. Fine. Different castes of petty paddlers. They were also traveling. I told you, paddlers were also traveling from village to village. Sometimes they used to sold wares like ropes, reeds, these mats and the sacks and all that. Some Mensidens acted as wandering merchants. They were the wandering merchants. There were castes of entertainers who were performing different towns and villages for their livelihood. So those castes were also different apart from these Banjaras and the tribal people. So this was all about today's topic, children. Thank you and have a nice day.